I think Thailand, that was the first country I went to.
Even my first international is Thailand.
The Chinese you get in India is not the Chinese you get in China. The pizza you get in India is not the pizza you get in
Eh,
Europe.
In all our other podcasts, we've spoken about a lot of other stuff apart from travel. And being a travel company, and we do not put a podcast on hacks of traveling, then what travel company are we? So, in today's podcast, we have Mr. Manoj Gagwani, who will be sharing with us his insights of how he has traveled over the years, either for leisure or for business or his work purpose. And what travel hacks will he share with us is something to know about. So, my name is Anil Lobo, and you're listening to Raynatours podcast. I hope you have an amazing time listening to this one. Hello, Mr. Gagwani. Thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you.
So, for today's conversation, we are discussing about holiday planning,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And you are, I think, the master in this whole craft. But the main important part to be a master in holiday planning is when you personally have traveled. So, my first question comes to places that you've traveled in your entire travel journey. Where all have you gone?
So I don't know if I'm a master or a bachelor, but yeah, I have spent good amount of time in holidays and holiday planning. And I've been fortunate that I have had the opportunity to travel a lot. Not just for holidays, mostly for work, but at times you club holiday with your work. At times it's just a holiday. So I would have been to about 38 countries or so.
38 countries.
Yeah.
And all continents or?
Antarctica, I haven't been to as yet. uh, South America, no, that's one place I want to go. But yeah, I think I've been to Australia, Asia, Europe, North America.
From this top 38 countries, tell me the best three countries that you are the places that you really, I mean, that's the best.
I think Thailand, because that was the first country I went to.
Okay.
So and that's the reason it's always been special. My first international.
Even my first international is Thailand.
Oh, okay, yeah, and actually, if you see, Thailand is associated with a lot of things, but if you want sheer luxury, if you want culture, food,
Yeah.
sightseeing, and
You
if
like
you
the
just
food of
want
Thailand?
to chill, yeah, the food is
I didn't like
amazing.
it.
I'm vegetarian, but still, the papaya salad and the curries and
Okay.
all is good.
So Thailand are number one. Number
Thailand,
two.
not number one. I would say Thailand has been special.
Your
For
number three.
yeah,
Okay.
US has been special for one reason, one particular reason or so.
What's that?
And US, because I got a chance to go to New York, so I had a lot of US visas, but I never got a chance to go to US. And it just happened that I went to US, and the company that I used to work for earlier, they got listed on Nasdaq. So I got to be in Nasdaq for the opening bell. So I think this was like once in a lifetime thing. So again, that is memorable.
Wow.
I think beyond that, a whole lot of countries.
Number three. We came on this.
Number three, I think
I
I would
think
say Ireland stood out for me.
what was so special about Ireland?
I think because normally when you go to Swiss, France, Australia, you kind of know what to expect, and at times it meets your expectation. At times, I went to Ireland without much expectation, and it just turns out it is a fabulous country in all aspects. The people, a lot of culture. It's a old civilization in a way, and a lot of beer. So I think, yeah.
I see we have planned a lot of like a lot of write up of what we are discussing today, and here there is a part where you've mentioned beer as well. But I don't drink. But for those who are listening and hearing, I think beer. Coming back in all your travel experience, where is the place where you felt it's budget friendly and worth your money?
I think again I would say anything in Asia like Nepal,
Nepal.
Sri Lanka, Thailand. These are largely budget friendly.
Beautiful places as well.
Beautiful places as well. Lot to do as well because the hotels are not that expensive. And coming from India, currency plays an important role. When you're going from UAE, I think the impact of currency is much less. But when you earn in India, pay
And then
taxes in India, pay GST in India, then I think
then it's a budget crunch.
Yeah.
So in travel, when we say there are two topics, you say, are you a mountain person or are you a beach person? What person are you? What
I
do you
think
love?
wherever I get the best deal.
but But in your heart, let the deal go away.
No, I think
What is more attracting
I
to you,
think
beach or
so. That's one thing I haven't been able to figure out.
okay?
I kind of like beaches also, and I like mountains also. But I think I've been mostly to beach destinations.
Beach destination.
Although I'm not like a swimmer, I don't like to go out in the beach and swim and all. But yeah, I think I would again say statistically, I think
Mm.
I have been to more beach destinations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even your work profile that you've had over the years, it's I
Yeah.
think all related to travel. Is that right?
Yeah, largely related to travel,
So
and largely for various reasons, I just had to travel a lot.
okay.
Uh,
So when you're traveling and all, like your work has made you travel. So are you actually a travel person or you're like a corporate travel person?
no, I think I am a corporate travel person. I
Okay.
mean, I hate flights, I hate
You hate
airports.
it.
Yeah, but I think
Why do
once
we hate it? Everyone loves
I
flights.
think in a way it's stressful because every time when you're traveling,
Mm-hmm.
and say if you have to travel for 1 week or whatever time, you just have to wrap up a lot of things before you travel. After you come back, there's a lot of pile up which is
Yeah.
happening.
Oh yeah.
So and then packing and all is stressful, and I think your routine goes for a toss because when you're traveling, you're meeting people, you are being entertained, you are entertaining someone, you are on a time difference,
Mm-hmm.
so all that becomes a bit hectic. But once I am at the destination, I think I love being at the destination. It's just that being in a pressurized cabin for a few hours, just being at the airport and going through so many checks
Mm-hmm.
and queues is a bit
So
frustrating. Can't do much about
your
it though.
your as you are traveling in work, I think it's a dream for many people, to be at your workplace and get a chance to travel.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let me talk about your career first. How did you get this job? Like how or what was your career roadmap to end up in a job to become, have a job when you're traveling and working? I mean, I feel it's enjoying life as well.
So yeah, in a way it's good.
Mm.
When you look around and you see a
Mm.
lot of people, they just drive from their parking lot to the office parking lot in the same city.
Yeah, that's the thing.
so so for me, yeah, I should say I shouldn't really crib about it. I should say I've
You're
been
saying parking lot. People are
fortunate.
saying just train and
Trains,
metro.
yeah,
So
and yeah, the 942 Virar local or whatever.
yeah,
Uh,
it's quite different.
yeah. So I think I never actually, growing up, I never wanted to be in travel, or
Oh, you didn't want
yeah,
to?
I never thought I'll travel to so many countries.
Okay.
I actually wanted to do hotel management. I wanted to
Oh,
be a chef.
really?
And yeah, I mean, and then there was this guy in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
He had done his catering, hotel management, and he was doing his internship.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and spoke to him, and I think it was a bad phase or a patch in his life. He was very frustrated
Okay.
because he was interning with some flight kitchen, and he had to pack 300 salads and 300
Oh, for the flights.
curries, and yeah, and break eggs all day or chop chicken all day. So I think that wasn't really motivating that point of time.
Okay.
And then he said, oh, you never get your holidays,
Mm.
all the days like New Year and Diwali
Yeah,
and whatever. If you are in a hotel, you are working while everyone else is
right.
enjoying. So then I think that made me sway to travel, and then I did my diploma from Mumbai University, and that's how I started.
Oh, you've done diploma from
Yeah,
which
yeah.
college?
This was from the Kalina campus in Mumbai,
The
University of Mumbai. Yeah.
university office, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So I think main building is the
Yeah,
old
I get
building
it.
that they have in town in Fort, and then they have a campus
Kalina
in
one.
Kalina as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful place. I was
yeah,
done my
yeah,
graduation from there.
yeah.
And from there, how did you pace your traveling office journey like that? Like I want to
So
know.
it just happened, while in college, I was about to finish college. I went for an internship, and
Mm.
they took me on board. And then after a few months, they offered me a job, and then
Which company was that?
this was way back in Cox and Kings.
Cox and Kings.
Yeah,
So that was your first job.
yeah, that was my first job. Yeah, first was a brief internship while in college with Air India at the airport.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a 3 month internship. So that was also fascinating.
okay.
And then Cox and Kings happened way back. Uh,
So that was in that job as well. You were getting to travel, or how
yeah,
was
so
it?
that was the first job I started traveling.
Mhm.
Uh,
Okay, first job.
yeah,
Okay.
and then I worked with them for a few years, so I traveled a bit there,
Mm-hmm.
and then thereafter, whatever jobs I have taken, I think now with the global economy, whatever you do, you I guess end up traveling,
Kind of,
more or less.
kind of.
Yeah,
Depends on where.
depends on what your role is and what
Yeah,
you do. But yeah, I think
yeah.
travel
So,
has been part of
so
my
after Cox and
profile.
Kings, it was this, or there were
No,
more
after Cox and Kings, I joined Kony. It's a Swiss travel conglomerate, or it
in
was.
India or anyways?
It was headquartered out of Zurich. I joined the India office.
Okay.
They had a brand called SOTC, so they
Oh
acquired
yeah, very famous
SOTC.
brand.
Yeah, yeah. And I traveled. Then I stayed in UK for some time. My next job was with VFS.
Mm-hmm.
So in VFS, I traveled a lot, but not to any of the holiday destinations.
Mm-hmm.
It took me to Africa and other places,
Oh,
UK of course, but Africa. I spent a lot of time in Africa,
yeah.
traveling and living there
Mm-hmm.
for a while.
So you've had like lot of travel in your entire career.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, being an Indian, I think till some years back you required a visa to
Mm.
almost every country.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I have accumulated like 6 jumbo passports with
I was
all
supposed to
the.
ask how many passports
Yeah.
you have?
So I carry two, the recent ones.
How many passports you
Six.
had?
Six.
Six
Yeah.
passports.
Yeah.
Wow. And in a year, roughly, how many times have you traveled in a
So,
year?
so I think it would be at times it would be on an average I would say maybe 6 to 8 times a year,
Different countries.
different countries.
Wow.
But there were times where I would travel pretty much every week.
Every week.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I
That's
would just
crazy.
go to the same countries maybe pretty much every week.
For
Uh,
anyone to listen, you're traveling, it sounds really well. But then when that whole, that, what do you say, when you are traveling by flights, you don't get sleep and all that, for that word. When you travel to US, India,
Jet lag.
jet lag, when
Yeah.
all these things hit you and then think of managing stuff. I want to now know, like, what are the difficulties that you face? What are like major, like till date you face this problem while traveling?
Difficulties, I think queues at the airport.
Queues at the airport.
I think that's one. Flights getting delayed is another one.
Okay.
I think just in case if you don't get your bags on time,
Have you
or
lost bags?
yeah, not fortunately not that often. Yeah, my bags have been broken and all.
Broken.
They've been delayed, but I actually haven't lost a
You
bag.
never lost a
Yeah,
bag.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think yeah,
What is
that's
the
good.
worst experience that you've had while traveling? One, like we've spoken about a lot of good things, like you had here, there, enjoyed the beer from one place. But what is one like really bad experience you had, or your worst place where you've traveled? Like this, I'm not going
So
back.
I think I really have. If I were to say, yeah, I mean, you have few hiccups here and there. At times, you are taken to the wrong hotel. At times, your
Oh.
vehicle doesn't turn up. Uh,
Where was this wrong hotel?
I
Which
think that
country?
was in Switzerland.
Really,
Yeah,
Switzerland?
yeah, and it happened in France as well.
Okay, then what happened? Like you had to.
So France, actually, I was in a coach and we were a group of people, and
Okay.
the driver, he was a good guy, but he used to drive school buses in some city in
Okay.
Europe. And then that was the first time he was driving to France.
Oh damn.
And when you drive on an expressway, it's okay. But as soon as you get into the city,
Mhm.
Paris is a large city, a lot of vehicles, a lot of cars, and
Mhm.
they have this ring road. So I think there he got lost.
Mhm.
And this were the days before Mr. Google was around.
Oh damn.
So I think I just had a thing, we went round and round, and finally we said this is not working, so we just got a cab.
Mm.
And we told the cab that we want to go here, and how they speak French over there. And he said okay. I said okay, go. And he couldn't understand. I said no, look, we are lost. You just go and we'll follow you.
Okay.
And then yeah, so then we just had to ask someone from the coach to sit with him, because it was difficult to explain him that why do we want an empty cab to go to a particular place. So I think that's how we navigated.
Okay.
Yeah, flying in smaller airlines at times in some places can be bit
Yeah, your
scary.
statue is a
Uh,
very tall person.
yeah. So
coming to one more
yeah.
kind of question before we deep dive into more. The best food you ever had from country. Which is the best food? According to you.
So I think I would again say that being a vegetarian, your options are limited, and
Oh
what you
yeah.
get in India, the Chinese you get in India is not the Chinese you get in China, and the pizza you get in India is not the pizza you get in Europe.
Italy,
So actually, unless you are well exposed, then you know what to expect. But I think again, Thailand was good in terms of food. Singapore was another good place.
Mhm.
If you like breads and pastries, then France was amazing.
Okay.
Especially if you go to those
You get
local.
veg in veg as well, pastries?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, you get it over
you
there,
get them with egg, but I think that's
but you'll
okay.
have to
Yeah.
manage and adjust.
But then in France, yeah, you go to one of those local pastry
Mm.
shops or coffee shops, then you enjoy the delicacies
Yeah.
there.
Coffee shops are, I think, famous in most of the countries,
Yeah,
right?
most of the countries, they have a strong culture for coffee and
Mm.
uh,
I think personally, I mean, there are different type of travelers. Now, in traveling as well, talking to you, I feel there are two separate types of travelers as well, like a non-veg and a veg kind of
yeah.
a category, which is something which while traveling nobody thinks about.
And then veg, you have many subcategories. Like, you know, there are some
You
people
can't
who
eat
will
this,
say,
yeah,
I'm only veg on Mondays and Tuesdays.
yeah, and then if you're
I'm
veg,
not one of those, but I'm saying that, you know,
okay,
in veg, there are many
you're
subcategories.
pure
Yeah.
veg.
I eat eggs occasionally.
Okay,
Yeah.
you eat eggs, like you're
Yeah.
an vegetarian, you can say.
Vegetarian, so to say.
So, as I said, there are two types. Like there is a veg and there is a non-veg, which nobody
Yeah.
discusses. Let's deep dive in this topic of how to plan your travel. Let's go for these vegetarians. If there's a vegetarian who wants to travel the world, and most of the famous locations are filled with great non-veg food and
Yeah.
absolutely very little options of veg.
Yeah.
Now, let's take them first. Let's take the
Yeah.
vegetarians. There are different, as we have already spoken. Everyone who is a veg knows there are different
Yeah.
types of vegetarians.
Yeah.
How does how do they now plan a trip? Or let's also to put a second part to it. What are the places that they can go which they can really enjoy, right? Not like suffer in food.
So I think it's fairly simple. You know, if you're a veg and if your baggage allowance is 20 kilos,
You
15
take
kilos
any.
have to be food and 5 kilos your clothes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
No,
that.
I think that's how most of the veg people who were veg used to travel. In fact, it is quite exciting that, you know, from India a few years back,
Mhm.
people used to travel for food. When I
Yeah.
say people used to travel for food, there was a concept in Europe set up by many Indian companies,
Right.
SOTC being one of them, and some other companies pioneered it. It was called Kitchen Caravan.
Oh.
So when in Europe they're traveling in a bus,
Hmm.
there's like a kitchen on
Kitchen open.
wheels traveling alongside them, and there
Oh.
are chefs, you know, those Maharajas.
Wow.
They are cooking food for them, and they are making authentic vegetarian food,
So they didn't need to think about it.
starters, and you know
Wow.
your desserts. And they would set it up, you know, before you reach the hotel in the evening. They would set it up before you reach your lunchtime place. You know,
Is it
they
still
would set
there?
it up. I think it's not there, and I'm not sure if it is required right now.
Okay.
Because if you see, India has evolved. You know, I'm largely talking about my experiences from India.
Yeah.
This is vegetarian food is more again relevant in India. But if you see, India has evolved because a lot more people, earlier it was veg was only Indian veg.
Correct.
But last few years, you know, when you talk about veg, there's Chinese veg, there's Mexican veg, there's Italian veg.
Okay.
So people have got exposed to the food court
Options.
culture,
Yeah.
food court options. So I think these days they are not too particular. They still want veg food. A lot of them still want Jain food,
Yeah, Jain food is
but
there.
they are quite okay to have veg which is not Indian veg.
Okay.
So I think that has changed. Indian diaspora has always been there, and
So
that's.
now I don't think so. People should think about food because there is
I think,
good
yeah, you
options.
look at some of the most, and you know, Indians, because of our sheer size in terms of population, and now the spending power is also increasing. A
Increasing,
lot
yeah.
more people are traveling.
Yeah.
So every place you go to, they know how to cater to Indians. They know what Indians are looking for. And there are veg restaurants, and people do adapt. Like if you go to Kenya and if you go to a lodge which is far away from the civilization, they will know how to make veg food and Indian veg, and it will most likely be part of their buffet because there is a whole lot of vegetarians traveling from all over, you know, from India, from UK, from US. So that's there. Interestingly, a lot of people in the West are also now turning vegetarian. So
Oh, yeah.
I was in Bahrain a while back, and we were watching this Formula One, and there was a group of Germans, and I kind of, informed my host that, look, I am vegetarian, so I'm not fussy, whatever you can manage, even French fries and all. And he said, oh, don't worry, there are four others,
Okay.
and they were they were Germans and Italians, and four of them were vegetarians, and they had been vegetarians for a good part of their life.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay. Didn't know that.
yeah.
Like talking about Germans, you feel like
You
they'll
feel
be,
they are into, yeah.
yeah,
So
non-veg.
Germany was one place where you don't get too many options in veg if you go to a local place.
Mhm.
They do something. They do like some sort of veg food, but yeah, options are still very limited.
Okay. Coming to the second part, when we've spoken about vegetarians, I think vegetarians don't need to think much because there are options now available thanks to malls and all.
And I think they are also kind of ready. Like if today, if you go to Marks and Spencers in UK, you will get a good amount of veg
Oh,
meals.
okay.
But I think they are also ready. They also prepared that they'll have less options, and they still do carry some food, or maybe
I think
haldi
if the number of people veg are comparatively less compared to
less.
non-veg, so
Yeah.
for companies or places to set up a veg stall will also be not that feasible, I feel,
Uh,
while traveling. So I
yeah.
think if the number of people who are veg increase, I think then you'll see more options.
Yeah, sure.
But
And if
right
you're
now,
not too fussy, I mean, there are some people who are fussy that I wouldn't say fussy, that's their preference. So maybe fussy is not a right word, but there are people who prefer that if there is non-veg being made in the same kitchen, then
hmm,
they'll not
not eat only.
eat. So I think for them it gets much more difficult,
Difficult.
but kind of you're okay with that. Like McDonald's pretty much has, not everywhere, but they do have veg meals in a lot of
Yeah.
places.
Yeah, but that's another. I think,
Yeah,
but it will be something. I think as on today, tourism industry has improved and evolved, wherein you can
yeah,
find food that is catering to you and you can eat it
yeah,
comfortably. Coming to the second part, again there are like when you're planning a trip anywhere in the world, it's either you plan via a company who
yeah,
plans it for you, or do it by yourself. Like people
yeah,
literally
yeah.
go on detail.
And they do book things on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that? Do you think what's your take, like, is booking an option with a company a better option, or doing it by yourself?
So
What's your
that depends on everyone's travel preference. Not everyone is ready to do things on their own, book things on their own.
correct?
You do need a lot of time if you have to do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, depending on again on where you are, where you want to go. Like if you're going to Maldives, for example, I think you can just go
Go.
choose your hotel,
There's nothing.
see what kind of villa you want, and just book because there's pretty much nothing to do.
Correct.
But say if you have to go to Egypt, or if you have to come to India, then you are better off having someone plan it for you so they can
Hmm.
take care of minor nuances
Traveling and
and
all that.
they can just help you navigate.
Hmm.
So still, travel agents are there, tour operators are there. They add a lot of value in terms of, bringing you good airfares and better deals. But then there's a whole lot of people, there's this entire sharing economy which has come up, the Airbnb types,
Yeah, oh yeah,
or
Airbnb.
otherwise also people who just travel on their own.
In our write up, there is a section where we mentioned Airbnb disruption. I wouldn't
Yeah.
know about that. What does this mean?
So
I don't know about this. Compare. I'm like, this is
So Airbnb, I think it's a billion-dollar company,
okay.
and they started with a simple concept. They just let someone stay in their spare
Yeah,
room,
there I
and
get.
I think from there it's picked up, and now you have Airbnb
Is this
everywhere.
disruption a good disruption or a bad disruption?
I
We're
think
wondering what is.
anything is any disruption. I think most of the time it's good. I mean, it's
Okay.
just the additional option for people.
Hmm.
If you just want to explore things on your own, if you don't want to stay at a standard hotel,
Hmm.
maybe you can save some money as
Have
well.
you taken an
No,
Airbnb?
so far I haven't.
Hotels better, preferable?
I prefer hotels. It's standardized. You know what to expect.
Yeah,
You
Airbnb.
don't have to spend too much time researching where you are staying and
Hmm.
all. So
And if you have to suggest, if you have like, what would be better? Hotel would be to people who are traveling, because Airbnb is something which is actually taking a lot of fire right now, thanks to the millennial and social media age.
yeah,
A lot of people are talking about
yeah.
Airbnbs rather than hotels. What's your take? I mean, would you suggest travelers who are just solely come to travel take a Airbnb or take a hotel?
I think if someone just wants to explore a place and you plan things on your own and you are okay, you're not too specific about the way you want things, you don't want any business services, I think then Airbnb is good. But I think that there's a segment of people who prefer Airbnb.
You have to even, I
Uh,
think, keep it clean as well before you
yeah,
leave.
and if you want housekeeping and if you want someone to make your room
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day, if you want a turn down service, and if you want room service,
In short, relax.
yeah, then maybe hotels are a better option. But again, depends where you're going. Maybe in some cities you're better off in a hotel. But say if you're going to Ireland and they are warm and hospitable, you are better off maybe booking a Airbnb in a small a town and staying with a family, who will also be a good host, hopefully. So,
Have you done that, Anna?
no,
No.
so far, no.
Through clients, have you ever
No,
got
I
into
really haven't come across too many people who have gone on Airbnb. Although I know some they have booked, and someone, a friend of mine, they came to Dubai and they booked a villa somewhere in Jumeirah. It was couple of families. They had a great time. But then someone had referred them, so they didn't go
Okay.
just by the reviews.
They were
Someone had
referred.
stayed there and they had a good time, so they referred them, and I think they had a great time. And now that you have your Zomato and your Swiggy and your apps, it's
Just
much easy.
helps.
Yeah,
In fact, travel right now is initially was influenced by movies,
yeah,
and right now it is solely influenced by social media,
yeah.
right? And I want to know like some of the travel movies that you've watched and you've been really influenced. Let's just digress from the topic.
I
and come
don't
here.
think so. I've been influenced by a travel movie, but yeah, I think I watched a few. Actually, any Yash Raj Bollywood movie you watch, it's a travel movie. I think
Yeah.
he prefers to,
Yeah.
he used to prefer to shoot in Switzerland all the
I one of
time.
the film was even done in New Zealand. If most of his
Yeah, could be, but
his
I
Shah Rukh
mean,
Khan
you
films,
you think of Shah Rukh Khan films or Yash Raj banner
Switzerland
films,
and
it's
New Zealand.
Switzerland. But I think a recent one, not really recent, it's few years old. I think Zindagi Na Mile Dobara,
The
that
famous
was
one.
made in Spain, and
I think that movie literally kickstarted travel in
yeah,
India, especially because
yeah,
the way it was shot and people just wanted to travel.
yeah. And I think, yeah, I'm sure Spain tourism got a lot of boost with that.
Obviously, it was like big.
And then there was this other movie, Julia Roberts movie, Eat, Love, Pray,
Love
or
It,
Eat,
Pray.
Pray, Love. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. So I think that was also about travel, and yeah, that was more of solo travel.
In all your travel journey, let's go back to you. Which are the places that hotel wise, like you really love the hotel?
Mauritius, I think. Mauritius, I
What was so
remember.
unique like?
I don't know. I think it was just one of those resorts where you go in and then you are cut off from the outside world, and the sea is just 20 meters away from you. And it's an all-inclusive thing. So you could get your Green Island rum cocktails for breakfast as well.
Have you traveled solo or only with family, friends, and all?
And solo was mostly work.
Only work, you've
Yeah,
not
work. I'm
traveled
not
solo.
really a solo traveler, so
Then like
yeah. So it's always been with families or friends. But work, yes, a lot of solo travel has happened.
have you ever missed a flight?
Once, I think, yeah. Out of all the flights I would have taken, I've just missed one
Which
flight.
is that?
No, I think that we were coming back from actually, we were coming back from Dhaka to Calcutta, and then we had a connecting from Calcutta to Mumbai. So I think we kind of got delayed. It was a red-eye flight, and then we checked into a hotel. So I think we missed the morning flight, but that was okay. That was just Calcutta to Mumbai. So
I even see that one of the points is that you've even sat with a celebrity. I don't know that.
yeah, so it was a Chinese celebrity.
Chinese celebrity.
Yeah, and we were on a flight, I think, from Singapore to some place, and I didn't really realize
You didn't
it.
know, obviously.
And I think I got upgraded to club class, and she was sitting next to me, and then a lot of people were excited to see her on the flight. And once she got off, a lot of people, there was a lot of buzz.
What do you know? Remember her name?
I don't remember her
Till
name.
date.
Yeah, till date.
Okay, coming back to our topic.
I think either
Okay.
she was a celebrity in a good way, or she was a controversial figure, or a politician maybe. Not a politician, I guess. Yeah, some sort of celebrity.
Celebrity, okay. I hopefully it was a film star or something. But yeah, coming back to the topic. When we are planning a holiday,
Yeah.
the whole idea is to save. wherein people can have a great experience at
Yeah.
the same time save a lot, because
Yeah.
nobody wants to. They are okay. Some people are okay to spend a bomb,
Yeah.
but there are some people who want to enjoy, but also try out and find out hacks or ways of
Yeah.
getting things in cheaper. So I want to know an overall travel hacks that you know.
So I think, I mean, it's now, I think everyone knows it. I think there's no hidden secret as such. But I think some of the things still are that, if you're sure you want to travel, then book early. Because,
How much early that you
anything like 120 days,
Yes.
yeah, that's like 3 to 4 months.
3 months,
If you know you're going to travel, book early,
Mhm.
because you have this dynamic fares. They keep increasing as time passes by.
Even with flights and hotels,
I think
everything,
it
right?
happens with flights. It happens with hotels.
Okay. Even
Uh,
if you're booking packages with the company, like
yeah. So what happens is, like, say, let's take example of National Day, which is just around the corner in
yeah,
Dubai. So if you know you're going to travel, you have 4 days holiday, you can manage to get a day here or there. And if you have to travel, then you might as well book early. Because what happens closer to the day, the inventory, most of the times that's what
full.
happens. Inventory keeps shrinking. So people, if when they start, airline starts a flight. I guess they have 164 flights or 180 flights if it is a Airbus or a Boeing, with low cost carriers. And then as time goes by, they are left with 30 seats, 40 seats, 50 seats. So less the number of seats, they try to kind of monetize that flight, so the fares go up. So I think travel booking
Booking
early
early.
really helps. If you stay at and again, if you're a business traveler, or even if you're a leisure traveler, you travel a lot. So if you stay in a same group of hotel, like a Star Road, so
Okay.
that helps because you can accumulate miles.
Oh, okay.
Same with air miles. We don't realize, but over a period of time, if you've been flying with the same airlines,
They give you, is
uh,
that true?
yeah, they give you miles. You can redeem free
How do you
tickets.
do that? Like, I mean, we'll come back to it. That's a
Yeah,
good question.
yeah.
But coming back to travel hacks, apart from
Yeah,
that.
so I think other than that, if you take afternoon flights, if
Okay,
you
afternoon
skip the
flights.
morning and evening flights, because you have business travelers also there,
Okay.
that helps. If you skip the weekend flights, it helps. Like,
Okay.
now there'll be a lot of Diwali is on 24th of this month, so a lot of people, which is a Monday, a lot of people will travel on a Friday evening. So if you see Friday evening flights will mostly be sold out, or the fares will be very high. But if you
Correct.
can manage to kind of travel on a Thursday or first thing on Friday morning, you are likely to save.
Or you book little earlier,
Or you book earlier. Yeah.
and then that is another
Yeah.
option. So that would be to any other hack for hotels.
Hotels.
Hotels, you said actually, miles, if you could do that.
But hotels also, if you keep searching and if you search on a whole lot of websites, you look for, now you have refundable, non-refundable options. So if you and you have options with breakfast, without breakfast. So if you're not a foodie, or if you just want to take it easy, you can book a room without breakfast. You can book a non-refundable room, and you will end up saving a lot.
Okay.
If you search hard, if you look for the smaller websites, maybe you will get better deals on the smaller websites.
When we talk about travel, the first thing apart from food and places is money.
Yeah.
Like people carry cash of the country
Yeah.
that they're visiting,
Yeah.
or sometimes they carry the card. I
Yeah.
want to literally know what's better. Do you take the money, cash and go? Is that a better option, or that card?
So if
The forex card. I'm not saying the credit card.
yeah, so forex card is good, also, but I think if you kind of change, if you have cash of the country that you're going to, and if you exchange it before leaving, and not at the airport,
Nah,
you
but yeah.
exchange it, and not at the hotel also, you exchange it at one of the money changers before you're leaving. I think that's always better, because cards, any kind of cards, you end up paying a conversion
Oh, okay.
fee. Dynamic currency converter kicks in there, so you are likely to pay more, because either the issuing bank or the charging bank is going to charge you some
Profit.
spread.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you spend in cash, I think, and if you're not going to shop too much, if you're not going to spend too much money, if you have some cash, it always
So
helps.
cash is a better option
Yeah,
to rather than
yeah.
paying the
Unless
spreads and
you're
all.
going for a long holiday, you're going to spend a lot, so you have no option but to
Mm.
spend your card.
Mm.
Cash, of course, a card is safer. You can hotlist the card if you lose it. Cash.
And
Uh,
cash, yeah. But in cash, I mean, when you're traveling as well, insurance is another thing. I
yeah,
think another
I would say
factor.
it should be a must.
Like
Uh,
what package of there are different packages in
so
travel.
I
What
think
should be
depending
in
on
your package? Like,
depending on when you are where you're traveling, if you're going to Europe,
hmm.
before getting the visa, they have a specification that your insurance has to have the following. But I think largely a good insurance should cover you for any kind of accident, injuries, accidents.
Okay.
It always helps if you have a baggage and a passport
Hmm.
insurance as well. That's most of the insurances have that as well. Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of
But I
things should be
think,
covered.
yeah, hospitalization, injuries, and
Any
all that.
particular favorite insurance that you like that you usually
No, not really. It
you
depends.
just keep
Yeah,
changing? So
yeah,
it's not bad. In fact, I think when you're doing it by yourself, then you have to do your own homework. But
yeah,
I think if you're doing it through a package,
yeah.
it's
Most of
pre-included,
the
right?
time they include it as
They
well.
include, and I'm
Yeah,
quite sure it's covered most of the things
yeah. It
because
does
it
cover
gives you a
most
better
of the
deal.
things. And now these days you have COVID insurance. So
Yeah, so it helps you to get
yeah,
covered for that as well. Coming to the topic which we spoke, but we never elaborated, was the miles, the card miles that you
yeah.
use. I want to know how it works.
I think
Like I remember having a card. I had the card which told me that there is access, and I went over there and it's not. There's no access over there.
so
How
I
does it work?
think you have to spend a good amount. I mean, you have to, if you're flying, it's not that after one flight you will get miles that you can redeem. I think you have to be taking a whole lot of flights.
Okay.
But say if you're flying Emirates and you just sign up or on board, or you just sign up on the website or the app,
Uh-huh.
and then give your card number every time you travel, and your miles keep getting accumulated, and
Mm.
after you complete a certain number of flights you can redeem those miles for a flight or any other travel services.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay. Um, one of the questions that spiked my head was, according to you, which is the best flight or the best
Oh,
airline
I think that
company?
keeps changing. I
Top
hope
three. Let's see.
I
Top three
hope
that you really love.
well, it's I hope sometime in future Air India becomes the best airline to fly.
I think it
I
can.
I hope that
Tata
happens.
is now taken up.
Yeah,
I think
with Tata coming on board, let's hope that
because Tata has Vistara,
yeah,
and Vistara is very good.
yeah, Vistara is
So I
amazing.
really
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
so. Apart from that, let's say three that
But
you
I
really
think
like.
Singapore Airlines. Uh,
What's the best? Like, what do you liked
I
about it?
think the Asian hospitality and the
Food? How's
food
food?
was
Okay.
food is amazing,
Singapore Airlines.
and
Okay.
yeah, the option of wines. No, it just happened. So it was the first time again, lucky to have got into club class, and I just asked for a glass of wine, and that followed like with half a dozen questions. If I wanted dry or sparkling, red or white, French or
like
whatever.
a
Yeah.
like a subway thing.
Yeah, so yeah, it was more like a Subway or which bread and which cheese and so on. But Singapore Airlines definitely, Emirates. I have
Hmm.
flown many times, and it's been good. Cathay Pacific is another good airline.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Other than these three, this three would be my top.
Okay.
But even Etihad has some amazing
Yeah.
experiences. In low
Okay.
cost, I always liked Indigo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have my other preferences other than Indigo, but yeah. I remember like when we were discussing about the podcast, this is one thing that you told me that you've traveled without a passport.
Oh, it
And
just happened once
how
from
did that
one
happen?
country to other country. I was with my boss, and he was to fly to, I think, Russia,
Okay.
and we were in the same lounge, and there was an offer at the duty free. You know how you have the SAARC countries, so
Yeah, yeah.
that was like East African countries. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a resident, you get a discount, and he decided to take my passport to avail that discount, and he forgot to give the passport, and we were in the kind of in the boarding gate area. We were in the lounge, and then I went to my boarding gate,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't ask me for the passport. They just saw the boarding pass, and let me in, and the passport was with him. And while on the flight, I realized while we were about to taxi off, and fortunately, I had someone whom I knew was taking a flight which was an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
So fortunately, I could call my boss. I could call him, and I made sure they met. And after landing, I just waited at the airport, and I told the immigration guys this is what had happened, and they just were cool about it. So they let me wait. And then this business associate who was coming in an hour later, he carried my passport. So yeah, it was all too okay.
Oh my god. When was this? Which year?
Oh, this was many years back.
Oh my
Yeah,
god. You
yeah.
did which country? Sorry, I didn't pay
So
attention.
this was I was
From
flying from Nigeria to Ghana.
Nigeria to Ghana.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Crazy. Okay, let's sum up this entire podcast and let's talk about quick things to remember, or quick tips that you would suggest travelers when they're traveling. What would that be?
So plan early,
Plan early, okay.
book early.
Mhm.
Most important these days, get your visas on time, because
Oh
I think
yeah.
that's a stress. A lot of people book their hotels, holidays, and everything, and then they realize they don't have the visa.
So visa should be done first.
Visas, yeah. As soon as you plan to travel,
Get your
you should
visas for
apply
them.
for your visas.
Okay.
And yeah, then depending on what you want, either you travel through a tour operator or you do your own trip. You should just plan early, book early,
Mhm.
research a bit,
Mm.
because there's so much of information available. There's so much of reviews.
Yeah.
I guess you would know that better. There are a lot of travel influencers also, and they also share their travel trips experiences.
Correct.
Travel light is another thing, so that you can soak in the most.
Mhm.
Try and learn, not learn actually, try and pick up few words
Of the particular
of the
place.
place you're going to. I think that always helps you to bond
With the people.
with the people, figure out what sport they are good or bad at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and maybe get to know something about the politics.
Yeah.
It may work either ways, but
Yeah, actually, coming to supposing if I personally want to go to Georgia or Azerbaijan, what do you think
so
should I
there's
do?
no free
In
trip. You have to pay for your trip.
what if I have to go for this national holidays in December? What should I do?
So you can just visit our website, raynatours.com.
Okay, what's the offer going on?
Oh, I think we have amazing offers now. I think you can book a package for 2,600 dirhams. Yeah, which includes your flights, baggage, stay, transfers, and a whole lot of sightseeing.
And food as well.
Food, we leave it to the
No?
people,
Okay.
because when you're on a holiday, and especially a lot of people from UAE, they don't want to you don't want to kind of hold people back just to have a meal. So people want to explore.
So
things
breakfast
on
is
their
included
own.
and your lunch and dinner is
Is on
as
your
usual.
own.
So
Yeah.
that's the only thing not included.
Yeah, that's the only thing not included.
Rest everything is
Yeah,
like there
yeah.
and done. Okay.
And most of the people staying here with residence visas don't really need a visa.
Really?
Yeah, to most of the places, I think. Yeah.
Like Georgia?
Georgia and Azerbaijan, Armenia, either depending on your nationality, either you don't need a visa or you can easily get a e-visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something new I came
Yeah.
to know just now. So with this we end. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Gagwani. It was
Thanks.
fun talking to you and knowing
Likewise.
insights. Yeah. So if you're traveling to Georgia, Armenia or Azerbaijan from anywhere around the world, especially if you're in Dubai, book your trips with Raina Tours because you will have exciting discounts. We put the links in our description. Go ahead and book and enjoy an amazing national holiday. Thank you once again for listening to this part of our podcast on how to plan your holiday. I hope you learned something from this, and if you did, don't forget to hit a like button on this podcast. And for more interesting and amazing podcasts from Raina Tours, don't forget to follow on Spotify because we upload our podcast 48 hours before YouTube on Spotify. I hope you had a great time listening to this one. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Till then, take care and God bless you.